Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm playing with the July kit from Pink Monarch Prints. So I'm going to show it to you real quick. Use Biddy3 for $3 off your first month's kit, or you can use Biddy30 for 30% off a past kit. I love the colors of this kit this month, and I thought it was perfect for card making. I mean, of course, it's perfect for junk journaling too, but I'm going to make 5 really beautiful cards with you here today. So I printed up 5 sheets of the background paper, and I'm going to show you how I cut these for a 5x7 card. This is the first time I've done this, and it's kind of ingenious. So on the 11-inch side, I cut it to 6 1/4. With this spare piece, I cut that down to 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, which just required a 4 3/4 cut. And then I cut the other piece to 4 1/4 right here. So I've got 2 pieces that are 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and one piece that's 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, plus a scrap that I will use. And that makes some awesome 5x7 backgrounds, you guys, if you use that cutting hack. And I'll show you in this video the cards that I'm going to make with those backgrounds. Okay, so here I'm just cutting apart all these sentiments. So these are going to be the sentiments of my cards. I loved so many of them, and I just thought they were perfect. I had a little date with my brother Scan and Cut, and here is everything printed up, cut out, and ready to go for my card making today. I separated all my number labels. I separated these pockets and tags, and then all of my little pieces of ephemera. My sentiments are all in one pile, and that just helps me as I'm designing and going. These are other pieces of ephemera, some circles, some tag toppers, just a little bit of everything. Everything I'm using today came in this kit with the exception of the stamps. So these are printables, and it's a kit that comes out on the 1st of every month, and every single one of them has been an incredible stash builder. I think that they all lend themselves to lots of different themes. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating kind of almost like a sketch for myself, or like I'm creating one pattern that I'm going to keep replicating over the course of these 5 cards and just altering each one differently. So I brought in this Iron Orchids Designs bee. I love this big bee. Well, I just love all their stamp sets. But I do love this big bee, and there's a lot of bees in the theme of this paper. I adore the colors. I mean, yellow is my favorite color. Blue is a very close second. And the two of them together, well, it's kind of like my kryptonite. It's just amazing. I love yellow and blue together. So as soon as I saw it, I just had to download it and get going with something. So I'm going to just show you snippets of the 5 cards I'm making, because I'll tell you guys that I had 85 minutes of raw footage to edit for you, which is a ton for one of my videos. So here I'm showing you that I didn't want to just glue these flat down because it wouldn't be even. So I used a colored pencil. On the back of the ephemera, I kind of sketched where I would want to put an extra layer. And here I'm putting this really thick cardstock that I use for my card bases. I save the scraps because I'm a 5x7 card maker for the most part. And I'm using those behind to level out this ephemera across that pocket. And that just makes it so much better. I embellished my tags in a few different ways. This one I had some scrap fabric over on the side on my desk, which I thought would be lovely. So I'm just gluing that down with my PVA glue. And I love the way that embellished the tag. And then I, did different. Each tag is totally different. Each card is really quite different. I stamped on this one. I added a piece of ephemera. And then the back of it's kind of like a journaling spot where you could write a message. What I love about these cards is that they would make great like bookmark kind of cards. Like, someone could take that tag out and use it as a bookmark. You could put these in your junk journals, because I always like to make cards that go inside of my junk journals. So here I stamped this image, and I love the ribbon, but it's not showing up quite enough for me. So I grabbed this yellow fine liner marker. This is from Arteza, and I am just getting very sketchy here. I can see where the lines are from the stamp, and I'm just going in and in a very sketchily way, sketching around the lines of the ribbon, and then I kind of go in and fill it in. Not in a solid line. I'm going to bring it up and show it to you closely here. Again, just in a very sketchy way. See that? And I love it. I think it finished it off lovely. It just looks like that heart and that ribbon were always a part of that paper. Now with this one, I didn't want to cover up the heart with a pocket. So I used my scrap. This is my scrap from when I cut my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I just turned that into a pocket. I popped my sentiment on it. I put that ticket behind it. And then I'll just tuck a little tag in this pocket. And I love the overall design of this card. I think it's so fun. You could write, any kind of message on the inside here. And this was a label that came in the kit, but I'm going to use it as a tag topper. Just doing a little distressing around the edges. I'll pop that in there. And then I'm going to stamp out my little bee. So I have a big bee and a little bee that I'm working with today. You could easily do birds, flowers, dragonflies. You could get real specific and make a hummingbird journal, I think, with this. And that's why I think these kits are such great stash builders, is that they lend themselves to more than just one theme. So I love that about these kits. I backed some of my tags with book pages, and I put my sentiment on this tag instead of putting it on the front of the card. So when someone pulls this out, they will see the sentiment inside. Love that. And then I decided to put a little lace trim down here at the bottom. So when I popped up my little tea kettle there, I made sure that it was in line with the bottom of that pocket so that I could put lace down and it wouldn't cover too much of my ephemera or anything. So that was something I was thinking of as I was assembling this card. It's just kind of fun to throw different things at these cards. It was a really fun card making session, but it definitely wasn't fast. Like, this took about 2 hours to make these 5 cards, but they're so gorgeous. They're totally worth it. Now on this one, I made this into a pocket. So now I'm going to decorate. This is the edge of the pocket. I thought this number strip was really fun. You could distress, if you bent between each number, you could distress those white lines, but they really just didn't bother me. They look totally fine. And so when you cut your paper the way that I did, then you get a matting layer, and then you get this, background layer, and I just love that. You can get all of that for one card. And then on the inside, I put my other cut layer. So basically from one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, I got a matting layer, I got my front background, and then I got a background for the inside of my card, which y'all will see how I did the insides of my cards in just a minute. I thought this girl was absolutely precious. I could have used more of her in this kit just because I loved her so much. I love the colors and just everything. I did go ahead and cut a thumb hole out there so someone knows it's a pocket. And then I decided, well, I got to put something in the pocket. Now I had this piece in my scraps, and I'm making kind of like a Polaroid here. I'm going to measure out the size of this image, and I'm going to cut some acetate to glue on top of it. Now I always just put a little dot in every corner and then really mash it down, and then you can't really see the glue. And then on bottom I put "gather friends like wildflowers." I love that saying, and I just thought it really worked with this card. So I'm going to tuck that in the pocket, but I didn't want to put it in there by itself. And I have this big bee stamp. So I decided I'm going to make like an envelope for this. And at the time, I'd been crafting the little heart out. I couldn't really remember how to make an envelope, and here I cut it way too close to the bottom, like there's nothing to fold over. But this is a happy accident, and that's why I wanted to leave it in. And now I want to revisit this design. But basically what I'm doing is just creating like a envelope flap and background. And then with this leftover book page, I'm creating kind of like a tuck spot here at the bottom, what would be the bottom of the envelope. So I have a place to tuck things in, and I have a flap to go over that will tuck into that pocket, but it's not a full envelope. This was definitely a happy accident. I am going to play with this idea again very soon. I think I'm going to make some ephemera for junk journals using this idea, because what I like about it is you get the feeling of an envelope, but then you can still see all the crafty goodness inside of it. Yeah, I really like this. Obviously, that's why I left it in the video. So embrace your accidents. This became a thing because I didn't give up on it. Here I'm just using some washi tape to reinforce that book page paper because it's kind of brittle, but it should be fine. So now I have this cute little package to put inside of the front of my card. I love it. And I'll glue this whole thing down. I also left this in because I didn't want to tell you to put a lot of glue on something like this when you've got that big wide pocket, just to make sure everything's okay. And then I went totally 1990s card making on this one, and I put the thread behind my ephemera. I still love this. It's an oldie but goodie kind of thing. I think in the 90s they used a lot of thread and buttons and things like that, and I like bringing it back. I like taking it old school sometimes. So I'm putting that there. And I have my flower down, and then I decide I'm going to use these brads. I mean, my goodness, I paid $1.99 for them years ago. It's about time I use them. You guys, I love printables because it breaks my hoarding tendency. Like, I can use all of this stuff that I printed to make these 5 cards, and then you know what? I can print it all again. And I love that because when I get a paper pad like Stamperia, I mean, I love their paper pads, but you only get 1 sheet of each design. I don't want to use it. It gives me hoarding tendencies. So I love my printables because I can use them over and over again. Okay, you guys, so this card says, gather with a grateful heart. And then, it's got those friends. Gather friends like wildflowers. And on the inside it says, there is power in gathering. It inspires us delightfully to be more hopeful, more joyful, more thoughtful. In a word, more alive, by Alice Waters. So, I love that with these sentiments, I was able to build cards that really have and deliver a message. And I think the imagery just matched them perfectly and beautifully. This one says the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. I love that quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. And on the inside, I just wrote dream for that one. And then in that pocket, I have a little ticket to dream. And this one says, find a reason to smile every day. And I just love that. I put the numbers. I wanted numbers on this one because I think there's lots of reasons to smile every day. And on the inside, it says, we must accept the end of something in order to build something new and better. And I think this card is just a beautiful encouragement card. And we all need some encouragement. And this one cracks me up. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. Dale Carnegie. I just think that's hilarious. On the inside, it says, when we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. And I believe that that is true. And the last one says, family and friends are hidden treasures. Seek them out and enjoy their riches. On the inside, it says, we have each other. We have everything, and you're in my heart. So I really love these cards. You guys definitely go check out Pink Monarch Prints. I'm going to leave their website linked down below. I think that their subscription is well worth the money. And your first month, you actually get 2 months. You get the last month's kit as well, which is super cool for your first month. And yeah, so this is everything I had left over, which was just one background and then a bunch of ephemera. I'm going to put the ephemera in my little ephemera holder here, which is a photo album that I altered. And I do put the company's name. So like this one says Pink Monarch Prints on it already because I've been buying their stuff for a long time. And I'm just going to tuck that in there, and then I'll put that background in my stash, and I'm ready to go the next time maybe I want to make a journal or just anything. I hope you enjoyed this card making session with me. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. So much love. Happy crafting. I'll see you next time. Bye.